Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ramani, and welcome back to this YouTube channel on narcissism and narcissistic relationships and systems, you name it. So I'm going to call this video, When Is It My Time? And this really links to the issue that when folks have narcissistic parents, the rather painful recognition that maybe your time never really comes, or it comes so late that you actually can feel a tremendous amount of resentment. Let's take this one on. So growing up in a narcissistic family system means that you are expected, it's not explicitly said, but you're expected to live in service to the narcissistic parent. Their exacting rules, their plan or their role that they expect you to fulfill, fulfilling their needs and denying your own, is definitely not a healthy precedent. And yet, many of us survive it. You live in the hope of someday forging your own path, making some of your own choices, your own decisions, and having those be valued from you as an adult. Alas, narcissistic parents future fake a lot. Yes, someday, of course, someday you'll be able to do this or you'll be able to do that. But for now, they'll caution you to not get ahead of yourself. It often feels as though narcissistic parents stunt their own children so they can't become their own people and actually fulfill not only their own needs, but their own destinies. And this can be cultural. While in the United States and in other sort of Western European countries, individuation is sort of built into the culture. People go off to school, they pursue careers, they marry whom they choose. In many, many cultures around the world, the parental control can extend until a person gets married to a person of the parent's encouragement or choice. And even in the United States, a narcissistic parent can still have very sticky fingers in their adult child's life, dangling money, weighing in on their lives, and holding them back. Listen, folks, even if you have your own career, your own place to live, your own life, even live far away geographically from them, narcissistic parents can still exert as much influence as if they were living next door to you. Their voice is still in your head. You are still trying to win them over. You may find yourself recreating some of the toxic patterns in an adult relationship or marriage or whatever. So you may sort of look and seem individuated, but those parents are still exerting that control. And you keep wondering, when is it my time? And as the years go on, maybe you go to therapy, maybe you go through some hard stuff and recognize that you are still stumbling around a bit. You slowly decide, okay, life is short. It's my time. But then time is time, right? And those narcissistic parent or parents, they may start getting older and more feeble. Perhaps one of your parents isn't narcissistic, but you've witnessed them enduring a lifetime of narcissistic abuse and you want to step in and help them and be there for them. Either way, the family system's manipulation kicks in again, especially if there are cultural factors at play. And now you're having to help, and an older narcissistic person will typically burn lots of bridges and be very rigid about how they want to age with little flexibility or recognition of the toll that their choices are taking on others, especially their children. So an adult child or adult children in the system may find themselves having to turn their lives around to care for this parent who may be even more cantankerous than they were when they were younger. And again, the question begs, when is it my time? A painful legacy of narcissistic family systems, especially when cultural issues around duty and obligation come up, is that you're forever caught in a purgatory of trying to become your own person. And the manipulative pullback, sadly, for many folks, it never really is your turn. The decision to step away from these family systems isn't easy. For some cultural reasons, it may literally be impossible. And sometimes people do maybe do so for a minute and then get pulled back, especially when parents get older. Sometimes people don't get their turn until they are quite a bit older. Parents have passed on, and there can be regret about having their times come so late. Then, of course, there are siblings who may also be carrying the family crest of narcissism, though separation from siblings and maybe obligations around siblings, around caregiving and things like that may be easier. Listen, I hate leaving a video like this on a depressing note, but I also don't want to gaslight survivors who are seeing that there's no easy way out, no easy way to get to what feels like their time, especially when cultural issues around duty and shaming of those who don't sacrifice themselves in the name of that duty are raised. It can sometimes be about finding the moments when you can make it your turn, while having to straddle the invalidation of the family system. People carve out their own solutions, and just walking away isn't an option for most. Be kind to yourself. It's okay to be angry at it never being sort of your time or your turn, to be angry about having lived your life in service of the egos in a toxic family system. All we can do is sort of carve out our time the best we can, but for many of us, it may not really ever come in a way we want at a point when there's enough life left that we feel like we can fully take advantage of it. Thanks again.